Hey, what's up, peeps? Y de lo mío. Sit down and take a seat. Que lo que siéntate. Lawrence and beyond. What's going on? Going live and hosting today, my Gene Bay. You already know, your main host. And today we got a special guest. And know that we're live. Feel free to ask questions, though. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid, guys, to ask any questions. You know, my main man, Fred, he'll make sure. And, Tiger, what's good, brother?
What up, G? Appreciate you having me.
Hell yeah! I at first, like, because we haven't caught up in a while.
Right.
So when we met up a couple weeks ago, at one of those bars, and then you texted me, you reached out to me, you said you want to come on, you wanted to have a conversation. I'm like, yo, I haven't touched base with Tiger in a while. Then we touched base, and I'm like. I'm proud of you, brother. Like,
nah, man, ain't nothing to be proud of, man. I'm just trying to be as honest as possible and just like understand that we all have a role, man. We all got a role in this chamber of life, this thing we call life, man. We all have a role, and we just gotta be honest with it and like share the wealth with everybody. That's what I'm really starting to see, especially if I work in education. So I'm starting to see that.
And for those that don't know. Tiger's a high school teacher, mind you. He's around my age. We went to school together, so knowing that he's working in a high school, especially with kids that are only like 10 years younger. How's that experience, Tiger?
That experience from my level in terms of my role at the school, like I handle a lot of the discipline and family engagement. So I think being so young, it's a benefit and it works in my favor majority of the time, but I think also when you are so like young at this point playing the role that I play, sometimes the sense of comfortability sometimes conflicts like the relationship in terms of who you are to them when it's convenient for them or when it's necessary. I think sometimes that line gets blurred when you are so young and you're playing in a role of being in your community, working with kids from your community who look and sound just like you. It's kind of hard.
So do you feel that being friends with your students, let's say being the cool teacher, it really gets in the way because we almost sound the same and stuff like that?
No, I think for sure that plays a factor, but I also just think that we ourselves as like adults per se, because that's what we are. That's our role. We're adults. I think we don't realize how close we are, and sometimes some of the habits we still have in terms of being from the community. So as much as you would want to like set the standard, sometimes you get caught falling victim to certain bad habits or bad behaviors that you engage with. Because if you receive a certain type of energy, or if you receive a certain type of like attention or action on a consistent basis, you end up inhibiting those traits. So sometimes you don't see yourself doing it because you think you're removed, but in reality, you live it every day just as much as they do. So that's definitely a factor.
I see. And what are 3 things you think children like struggle in high school right now? That you would say right now?
I think we hit on it earlier. I think it's just discipline. I don't mean that by like behavior discipline. I just mean the discipline of how we go about our days, how we handle our business. Which then goes to accountability. I think we as adults, we struggle with taking accountability, so it's hard to teach kids how to be accountable sometimes with some of their actions. So they grow up like with that bad habit or that, I guess, that deficiency in terms of social interactions, like being accountable for their actions in terms of that. But then, most importantly, I think humility. I think we forget to be humble. Like we all have a beginning. We all came from somewhere. Like, let's all humble ourselves, but I think it's hard for a kid to try to be humble or to have a sense of humility when their pride is their everything. Like, we forget kids are very like sensitive. So their pride is what they have. They live with their ego. I know a lot of adults who still live with their egos.
True.
And they conflict certain relationships we have as adults. But I think a lot of kids don't understand how to be humble and understand that, like, y'all have a shitty day today, tomorrow's a good day, and I lived in the past yesterday. But I could be humble about it. And today I have a good day, but I could have a shitty day again tomorrow. And I think we all look for that, like the validation of our life is good, but it's not like that. But we have to be humble about the fact that we were good at some point. We fell a victim, but it's all about the bounce back.
Yeah, and Tiger says, we went to school together and stuff like that. Would you say the kids of right now, in let's say your class, are way different than us? You think they had it way different than how we had it?
In terms of what, if you could be a little bit more specific.
Like, let's say for example, when my parents are first generation, like Dominicans in terms of they came here, then I'm the one that went to school afterwards. Some of these kids already, it was their grandparents. It was their grandparents or their great grandparents, and they already had a couple of generations here and stuff like that. And they're just coming up, like they're just young right now. Do you feel that do they feel that they relate to you, or that we can relate to each other, or do you feel that it's just a different different background?
No, I think it's a different background, but I think it goes to like you said, you hit on a point. I think our age, kids from 25 to 30, they're still first gen, like as a big first gen, in terms of their parents were the first generation to graduate high school, and then they're the second generation, or our grandparents. So a lot of people live with their grandparents. Like, perfect example, if my grandmother worked at Lucent Technology for 50 years, like, I want to be better than that. She set a standard of, I didn't go to college here, I didn't go to high school here, but like, I'm gonna work. And like, my mom, she got a few associate's degrees, but like, her standard was college. She set a standard of it always being college. Like, at home, it wasn't like just graduate high school. And I think now, I don't know if we're pushing
kids enough.
I don't know if we're pushing kids enough, or are we falling victim to the this sense of like they need more support and more of a backing. I feel like more help or more resources. That's something I'm very conflicted with, because I see where my friends are now, some of their struggles, some of my own struggles, and I see those similar things in kids that are coming through the system now.
Yo, hold on.
But now we're falling victim to like,
This shit just fucking fried.
what's the difference?
Yeah.
Why is your situation a lot worse than mine when we've had similar things? And I'm not saying comparing apples to oranges. I just think I'm saying like we've all had similar struggles, but why is it now that it's more of a cry for like us to help more than we were helped? I don't know. It's really something that like I'm really like.
So it's tough to gauge right now if it's literally sheer how they're growing up, or if it's sheer laziness, or is it the technology we have now?
No, I had this conversation earlier with a bunch of the homies in my group chat, and it was the same thing. It's like there's too much access for a kid to have now. Yeah. Like, I think our interpersonal communication skills are awful now. Like, I actually saw something on the NBA the other day. Adam Silver, the commissioner, said it that his own athletes are struggling with that, like that own interpersonal communication. There's so many young guys in the league that they came up on the social media.
Yeah. So
they'll sit in a locker room and not even talk. That's because everybody's glued to the phone. So imagine a 13-year-old kid. That's all he knows is his cell phone. I'm gonna be on Snapchat. I'm gonna be on IG. I'll just get a group chat with my friends. For what? You're 2 rooms over. Go chill. Like, our issue as a kid was like, damn, my friend's mad far. I gotta ride my bike to go knock on my neighbor's house.
The pack of wolves with the bikes, yeah.
Yeah, but you knew that's the only way I can communicate is if I physically interact with you.
Yeah.
I feel like we've lost that. So I think that, like, in terms of communicating now for like an adult with a kid, it's a harder connection to grow. But I think that, like, a 12-year-old having access to an iPhone with all these apps, like, that's crazy to me, man. And then we wonder why kids grow up so fast.
Yeah.
Like, everything we grew up on was, there's an age limit for this. There's an age limit for that.
Facts.
Yo, I rated our movie. Yo, you looked forward to turning 17 when I was in high school. Because you're like, yo, I go to the rated R movie by myself. Oh, liquor. Like, 21. Blunts, tobaccos, all that. 18.
Even jobs.
Yes. Like, even working at McDonald's, like, yo, you definitely had to be a sophomore in high school. Like 14-year-olds are working at 14 for what? Like some kids need it, but I know there's so many more kids just want money. Like it's this instant gratification of the financial. Like, yo, I could buy the Yeezys today, and that's what they're doing. And it's like, I wasn't even I like material things, but I wasn't like, yo, at 15 I need it. I need to be working for that. Just to flex.
I remember me thinking about wanting a house. I just always wanted a house.
Yeah,
that's it. Like,
yeah, but like I think me growing up, because I was part of that, like the ever changing like grade or age level where you want to stay current. We were at that point where Dipset was cool. Then Max B, all these, like, there was different eras, there's different pockets. We grew up in the Razor era, the Sidekick era, the beginning of the iPhone
I remember
era.
the beeper.
The beeper, two-way pagers. Like, those were things that we saw the evolution of, and even with all those evolutions, we weren't able to access shit from it. Like, on our Sidekicks, all we had was AIM.
Yeah.
Internet access, it's a joke. That's a joke.
There wasn't.
We didn't have that, and it's crazy to say at 28, yo, just 10 years ago, I didn't have the same accessibility I have now. But my 12-year-old nephew can do exactly what I can do.
Quick.
Like that.
Yeah.
There's nothing restricting him from being able to look at the same stuff on my phone as he can on his. If that's not crazy to me, or crazy to anybody.
That makes me think. Do you think we're overloading the kids so early on that then when they get to school, it's not enough, it's not even taking with them, that doesn't even tickle them, that, being overloaded with someone with a phone at a young age, that you're just, like, getting constant, because, like, those little devices have a lot of information in them.
Yeah, there's such thing as overstimulation.
Yeah.
You can be overstimulated. Like, yeah, these kids are super overstimulated. Like, it's crazy. I'm in meetings and I'm in conversations talk about what can we do to keep the kids' attention for more than 3 minutes. Like, what? Like, a kid can't keep, and it's bad because I actually saw a study recently and I had a conversation with somebody where, like, the normal attention span is far lower than it was 15, 20 years ago. We can't keep our attention on anything. So imagine trying to teach a kid who's fidgeting with the pen all day, or who wants to be on his phone because he knows, damn, he go to YouTube, I don't like this song in the first 2 minutes, I could change it. Fuck it, I go to Snapchat right now. Boom. I talk to two people, I'll send a picture. IG, I'll put send me questions. Yeah. Like, they get
so involved.
Everything's there. And everything's a stimulant. Everything you put in or you receive, that's a stimulant. So these kids are receiving these stimulants at a fast pace, man.
And they make it in a way that makes it kind of visually addicting a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
The colors, everything. And
sure.
And the school system hasn't changed in what, like 200 years, 100 years? Like, in terms of, pass this paper in. This is what you got to do. This is what I'm going to give you. Paper form. I know they tried with other stuff,
Yeah, everybody,
like,
there's different.
Changed, really.
I just think it's different learning systems, but I think it's hard to give all types of learners the right resources all in the same space, because I just think you only get so many hours. And I think in terms of like everybody's big on this whole like public school thing. Like, I love public school. To me, it's public school. Does it need an upgrade? Yes, because we have so many kids who have so many different needs in terms of in this case of learning. But I just think, like, it's hard to provide some of the services, because when you're restricted financially, I think financially public schools need a little bit more money, especially urban schools. But yo, man, I can't even say, as much as it hurts me to say, is like some of it, I kind of ask myself the question, it goes back to what you were first asking me about, like, our generation gaps.
Yeah. And,
like, do we feel related to the kids or not? Like, yo, we put so many resources in place for these kids in terms of, like, life and support. Maybe educational, we could do a little more. But I just think for everything, for them to still use the excuse that, like, this is why we fail. Yeah. It's like, nah, man, that's not true. We're trying to do everything we can to help you pass, like, in life. Like, we're trying to...
If we had the help that you guys that are providing today, back then, with how we grew up, I mean, like...
But it goes back to, like you said, like, we didn't have relatable images in the schools. So it was harder for us to connect. But now, you got me in the building. I have plenty of friends that have graduated who teach at the middle school level, the high school level, who, like, are able to connect with the kids. And they feel like, yo, I help this kid because this kid knows I'm them. But I think like there's too much of a crutch of like what more we could do in the classroom in terms of like support wise. Support, I think everything costs money, and I think certain places and certain districts are granted the benefit due to taxpayers, due to certain benefits they reap within their community that we lack, and sometimes our kids take the hit, educational wise.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's like, so if it's expensive, so they force the staff basically to try to to innovate like strategies basically, like, because
Yeah, to rewrite the wheel, like to
and I feel that teachers should get paid more, because that's almost like engineering. It's like you're engineer of basically.
after lawmakers, that is the biggest blue collar profession I think you can have. I think the services you provide the services you provide as an educator, I think needs to make more money. I'm not saying millions. I'm not, but I think a lot of teachers and a lot of staff members need to be compensated for the actual work that they do. Because I think sometimes it gets undermined because we're such result based. We're so test driven, not in terms of school, but as a society, like data. We need data. We need data. Some of the things that we provide, you're never gonna see on paper. You'll never see on paper. But the impact we have from the age of 5 to the time they're 18,
It's huge.
that we do the nurturing. We do the nurturing. Whether you get good, bad, and different of a child was raised through a system.
Yeah.
And do you put a financial cap on what you do for children?
Especially the upbringing, the people that are going to be, impacting our society.
Yeah.
We should care a little bit more how we bring them up.
Yeah, and like I know teachers in Massachusetts make decent money, and if you go to the Boston area, those teachers make more money. But a lot of entry level teachers are making a little bit more than the state bare minimum, and they're struggling. And I don't think somebody who works in the field of education, especially in urban communities, should feel undervalued for what they do. Not saying money drives it, because any educator you ask them, they don't do it for the money. But it'd be nice if the money came with the service.
I mean, like, it's because right now, what like you were saying earlier, what fuels kids, like some of these kids they just want money. They just want money.
Because that's instant gratification. They don't see the results that they get in the classroom right away.
And we can't lie that things are getting so expensive compared to the pay rate of a normal, teacher. Educator.
Mm-hmm.
And if a little bit more money, was provided and stuff like that, I can't imagine the fuel that for better passion, like with the teacher. Because I can't imagine how can a teacher perform at his best when they're struggling themselves in their own lives, and they still put a brave face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's something that is obvious.
Yeah, but it's a tough juggling act for lawmakers, because they feel like they have to appease so many people, but a lot of people forget. People were all kids at one point, and kids are what gonna drive us into the next generation of lawmakers, doctors, all that. But we forget that, because like kids, what do they do for us right now? They can't do anything for us.
And we're stuck with because you were saying, it's that you guys are stuck in basically in this question that are you guys providing the right help? Is it what's going on home, or their upbringing, or whatever's going on? And with that being said, wow, I forgot my question.
It's all good, man. I'm talking a lot. I apologize.
No, it was. I had a question. I remember. Don't you think, with that being said, that we could agree that today's generation is a little sensitive. You know what I mean? So there's that. Do you think there's that involved in there too? Like, when you guys thinking about, are they learning enough, or we're not doing enough? What's going on?
No, I just think it's hard, man. I think there's a lot of factors that we can't control. Like, we don't have as much power as we once did in terms of like relationships, and just like in terms of like resources. Like, if I had somebody who would sit with me and do my financial aid application for 3 hours, because that's their job at high school, that's a big difference maker. Oh, I can go to Northern Essex. I could go get credits while I'm in high school at 15 years old, and I could save myself 2 years of school by the time I graduate high school. I don't know how many of us would have taken advantage of it per se, but I like to believe that if we were given certain resources, back then,
I just remember right now. Like I remember at the Voc, it was a random class in senior year, I believe. You go in, you computer, and people help you out with your FAFSA. And I couldn't believe it. They helped me out through. You completed it, put all the information. They asked us what to bring. And
but that's just great. But I think that there was so little of it.
Yeah.
Like we have FAFSA counselors all year round on campus. Like that's their job, is to make sure you do your FAFSA. Like you cannot finish high school and not say you're going to a college without finishing your FAFSA at Lawrence High, which is crazy, in a good way. Yeah. Like that, the fact that they drive that, like, all right, I think we're going to Northern Essex. All right, but we're gonna get this FAFSA application done. We're gonna we're gonna help you with that. We're gonna put that crutch there for you, because a lot of kids don't know financially. You know how many kids are coming in now who are like, "Yo, is Mona Lisa here? Is a mall here? I need them so I can do my FAFSA." These are kids coming back to reuse the services. Yeah. But it's like, damn, like where were the 6 members 10 years ago? Or where were the people who were like, oh, this is your pathway to college, or this is your pathway in your field in terms of at the Voc, in terms of this is your trade. Like, yo, shout out to all my friends, shout out to you, all the kids who went to the Voc who graduated in their trade and are making the money that they wanted. They set a plan at 15, 16 years old, followed through with it, and are making money. And they're providing for their families. They're providing for their own children. Like I know more people who graduated from the Voc, who work trades, who own homes, or business owners, or X, Y, and Z, over kids I went to Lawrence High with. Because the means of income and the means of understanding, like, this is what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna stick to it, is instilled a lot better, I think, at the Voc.
I remember when I was, I think, 14 or 15, my decision to go to the Voc. I told all my boys were going to Lawrence High. It's like, yo, I really want to go too, but I'm not smart. I cannot get these grades like that. I really don't like this system at all. I'm not saying I'm not gonna go to school or anything, but I always wanted to go to college. I knew I was, but I just knew that Lawrence High was the best. If you really give it with your grades, you could get some amazing scholarships over there. Mm-hmm. But I set myself short. You know, I wasn't into school, so I went to the Voc. You know, I live in the projects. You know, money was hard, and I stuck by. And I was the first one in my class to go to co-op. I went to co-op in junior year. You know, just grinding and stuff like that. And my grades were still good.
No, it's dope. You know? I had a buddy, Darren, who was like,
yo, Darren, I know Darren.
Yeah,
yo, shout out to Darren.
Yeah, Darren's the homie. But yeah, like, yo, his dad was an electrician. So like when he was young, he was like, oh, he was always smart. He always was a 3.0 student. He's like, oh, I think I'm gonna become an electrician. And I was like, oh, word, that's cool. Like he went to Voc. Junior year, he was already making like $16 an hour, and I'm like, yo,
jeez, back then.
I'm like, damn, this dude's already making $16 an hour. He's like, yeah, this is co-op. And then his senior year, he was baking money, and then he was like, nah, I think I'm gonna go to college. He let his friends not necessarily influence him, but he saw like his friends who went to like the public high school, Lawrence High, go to college, and he then fell in love with the image, like, damn, they're living their best life at college. Like, they're partying, they're hanging out, they're going to school. And he missed that. So he left the union at one point.
It's hard to get in.
Yeah. But he left and came back. But that was his passion. But he put himself in a position to have options. But not only that, but, like, it goes back to saying, like, he always knew what his plan was. Yeah. And if you know, like, you're a worker bee, and that's how you want to get down. You want to work. You want to be a worker bee and be a union rep, all that X, Y, and Z, bro. Support it. Go make that money. You can't knock somebody's hustle. Never knock a man's hustle, especially where they go to school. That's one thing I realized. And like, yo, sometimes I wonder, like, I should have went to the Voc if I wanted to work and like put myself in a better financial position. Because I think that's something else that we don't realize is like kids who go to the Voc, a lot of them go work and defeat the debt. Yeah. That a lot of the public school kids, you get a free education up until you're 18, But go take $200 debt for all the free education we gave you.
I couldn't do that. That was stressing me out. As a young kid, I couldn't, like, yo, I don't want to pay nothing.
No, but that's how the system ends up getting you. Because all public schools are free, but not public universities. Why is that?
That is weird.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
No, we're gonna hit you for the 18 years you've already spent in education.
Wow.
This is how we get you. That's how it works. The people don't understand. That's the real cycle. That's not a full year education you're getting paid for, or that they're charging you for. They're charging you for the first 18, or the first 13, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Until you graduate high school, all that free education, that's just coming back at some point.
That's
coming from the taxpayers, and then it's coming from your dollars later. The taxpayers are the loan. They're just holding you down. Because once you move out the district, you leave the school. It's just a system. It's just that we're going to hit you at a point when we know.
Get the money back.
Yeah, we're going to get the money back. That shit wasn't free.
Yeah. Wow. Mind you, there's countries right now that have that free.
Man.
There's
I wish
countries right now,
that for everybody. But we live in a society that education ain't free.
And how do you feel about like getting your masters and stuff? Like
I feel like anybody who wants to go out and get their master's degree, I think you are set in the profession that you want to work in.
Yeah.
And your job requires a master's for you to take like the following steps after that. Because I think like with something like I said, like, oh, if you're a salesman, you don't go get a master's in how to sell somebody on something. What sells you is you. I might give you the rubric on these are the points you need to hit. This is the data. These are the statistics. This is X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
But nobody could teach you how to be a salesman. You either have it or you don't. I can teach you, but you'd be a mock project of me. You'd be a mock of my traits. You're not doing it. Certain degrees, you got to learn certain things for you to be in positions, just to be in meetings. And the salesman, if you're in sales, there ain't no book that's gonna teach you that.
You gotta just like either practice and know you.
It's
have
a natural. It's a natural skill.
Yeah, because people just
don't
have it.
Like
Some people
that's what it means to be personable. If I can be in front of you and we can have a conversation and the dialogue can go, and you don't even feel like you're forced to have a conversation,
Yeah,
I already got you sold on whatever we're talking about.
exactly.
And it happens so natural to some people.
Yeah.
But some people are stiff and that doesn't work for them. They're very systematic and I need to read a book. I'm going to analyze this. This is that.
Yeah,
This formula is going to work for this. Or I can write this and
like a computer.
yeah.
You know,
But I think to anybody who doesn't have like a path set, don't handicap yourself with a master's degree in a certain field. Because I think eventually you spend money for something you don't know. Like my girlfriend, shout out to her. She works for DCF.
What's DCF?
Department of Children and Families out of Boston.
Oh,
She works for DCF in Boston. But like in order for her to move up certain ranks within that, she needs a master's degree.
Okay.
So that kind of hinders her. She's great at what she does, but in terms of
It's a
working
requirement.
for certain units and certain positions of power, you need that degree. But she's great at what she does on the field. And I'm pretty sure she'd be great but that hinders her not having that piece of paper. But I know people who make $150,000 with a piece of paper that have no person that can't sell me on anything or can't do half the job she does. But since they have that paper,
They got
yeah,
the requirement.
yeah, they meet the requirements. Sometimes I think the requirements there, but sometimes there's a way around it. I feel like there's a way around it.
I mean, right? I don't know if you heard this, but you know how there's these maps onto getting masters. Like, oh, if you get a master of this, do this and that, boom. You know, it's just a quicker way than doing the whole.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the whole years and stuff like that, and you know, it's like, do you think the school system really checks the background, the limit? Like, certain masters are more powerful than others in terms, like, let's say if I have a bachelor's in business from this school and I have a certain master's from this online school that nobody knows of, but it just gave me one and
I don't know. Honestly, I think when it comes to like, I wouldn't say necessarily master's degrees, but I think sometimes people look at like the prestige of like the university, and I think sometimes it's just about getting it. Doesn't matter where it's from. It's just about getting it, because a lot of places are doing it for their own sake.
Yeah.
Just because some of them get get audited. Lot companies get audited.
That's what keeps companies on check.
Yeah.
Freaking and not to switch the conversation, but you mentioned earlier before the show, you did a little radio show.
Yeah, when I was in college, I used to do a morning show and a night show.
Yeah. And like, what were you doing on there?
No, I was just hosting. I was playing music. I would take phone calls, give like the sports and like music updates and stuff like that.
That's what's up, bro.
Yeah, that was a while ago, but that's what eventually like that's what I want to get to in my life, and like in terms of my own personal life and like having fun with it, like and being able to like pursue my own love and passion. Like, sports is my thing. Sports has always been my thing, and being able to follow it and like make a career out of it is ideally what I would love to do.
And you add like as much sports as you can, or do you have a limit to?
Well, no, I think you have a time limit. So like whatever updates I would get from the night before.
Imagine being a Max Kellerman or something like that.
I met Buster Oney from ESPN Tonight. I met some of the Sports Center guys before. I think, and like Ace Rod Blakely, the guys from the Celtics, Scout. I met those guys before, either at dinners or at certain places. But like I meet them, like I get in awe because that's the profession. So to me, those are the guys. Those are my like NBA players. It was like, all right,
what you want
like Stephen A. Smith to me, that's my guy. That's LeBron to me, just because of his personality, who he is, and like what he represents to like people of color. I think Stephen A. Smith, my man, just signed supposedly the highest contract for ESPN ever for a personality at $10 million a year. Like, my man's caking. When everybody else was leaving, and everybody else was getting laid off, he somehow saw through it, and now he's about to be the highest paid personality on that channel. And for a channel like that, that's crazy. That is, but I'm more of a Barstool fan. I like Barstool. I like the Dave Portnoy, the owner. I don't even know how to pronounce his last name. But like, yo, he's a dude from Mass. Started a similar thing to that, like what I want to do with like for the sport. Started Barstool. He appealed it to the college audience, and from the college audience, think about it. You grow up with it. It's like anything. Imagine 22.
Shout out to Barstool,
yeah. So you go on Barstool. You've been doing it since you were in college. You build that habit. Oh, let me check Barstool when I get home from work. As an adult. So he's been able to just like play off that, and now he has his own podcast. He does his live videos. He does a stupid one bite pizza review. My man goes to mad pizzerias in the country, like yo, dead ass. Yes, he goes has a one bite review. Cool. 4,000 or 5,000 views a day though, but it's like he's built these little pockets within his brand, and he's challenging like the hierarchy of like sports media. And this dude started it by himself. And he had his team and shit, but like it started with him. Like he had a vision, saw it through, and did it his way. And I think that's a route I can do, and that's a route that I want to follow. He's given the blueprint. It's about following it and not duplicating it, ideally, because then it's not unique.
I see.
But like these are Samaro. Like I rock with them somewhat. Somewhat.
Why not fully?
I think I've always said it. People hate me when I say it. I think they're kind of corny. Like I think their style is kind of corny to me. I think they overplay jokes.
Yeah.
I think sometimes they don't hit you with the first laugh, but they'll keep hitting that joke, hoping that it bites at some point. But
that's just a preference.
No, it's a preference. It's a preference. No, it's a preference. 100%. But one thing I've always said is I respect the hustle. Yo, I can hate the style, but I can always respect the hustle.
Yeah.
You grind 9 to 5. I don't gotta like what you do from 9 to 5. You can sell dope, for all I know, from 9 to 5. Yeah. But you provide for your family. You're providing for the community. You're doing right by the ones you love and by yourself. Yeah, you deserve all the praise. But I don't gotta rock with how you do it.
Yeah.
But I can respect the hustle. So I respect like their whole idea of a sitcom / late night show. That's just dope. The show idea is dope. Yeah. Their style is just whack to me. Yeah. It's not my preference. But I know many people who like purely enjoy it. Yeah. And shout out to them though, because this shit started from a podcast too. Bodega Boys. Yeah, so everybody started at some point and has turned themselves into a brand. Eventually, that's what you want to become. You want to be your own brand. And eventually for the sport, that's what I want it to be. I want it to be a brand of its own. Yo, Coachella this weekend. Yo, I'm gonna send two of my homies to go cover it from a journalistic standpoint, or from from a photography standpoint. Photos, videos, and journal pieces on it. Yeah, document all of it. Oh, the NBA Finals this week. All right, I'll send my sport. Like, that's eventually what I want to do with a brand.
And like, what you wanted to do with the brand, like when did this first like hit you? Was it before like you couldn't like?
So I've always been a sports fanatic since I was a kid. I was a big sports fanatic as a kid. Like I'm talking about I'm the kid who would.
In sports, yeah.
So I would watch sport from like the age of 10. I would watch Sports Center probably like 6 times a day, like 2 times before I fell asleep, and then I'd wake up and I'm watching it. Like it's just that shit was on repeat. I already knew the commentary because the show was on repeat until like they moved to LA and did a midnight show and did X, Y, and Z. But SportsCenter was on repeat, and I fell in love with the characters. Like Stuart Scott, to me, yo, rest in peace. That's a god to me, and that man is like, he has like so many trademark lines of just like following sports. I was like, yo, if I can never go pro in the sport, bro, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. Yeah. And I think, like, I've always had a love for it, but, like, me being an athlete, I always pursued playing my sport or whatever. But when I went to college and I was able to, like, actually put my feet, get my feet wet, working with, like, a mic or working with audio or covering a game, I was like, oh, shit, yo, this is definitely it. Like, so I went to school initially for sports management and then finishing in communications and journalism because I took an accounting class. And I was like, fuck this. And they were like, yo, you got to go to law school to be in sports management. Because my thing was like, oh, if I can't be a pro athlete, I'm a manage.
You was trying to be in there.
I was just trying to be in the business. And I was like, damn. Like, I'll manage an athlete. And they were like, oh, no, you got to look over paperwork. You got to go to law school because you got to be able to oversee contracts, take a few accounting classes. I said, Nah, I was like, nah, that shit ain't for me. I would like to cover it, but they've always told me, like, working in the field of communications or like journalism, you don't reap the benefits financially. It's never been a money thing. It's always been about the experience. To me, like I said, imagine being able to do, I'm gonna go to Governor's Ball in New York on Saturday, but I gotta go to the Yankees game on Tuesday. Fuck it, I'll make New York a whole trip for the weekend. Like, it's the experience of it. Yeah, you getting paid from the gigs. But it's the fact that you're able to live a life. Yeah, you're living.
It feels like you're living.
Yes, you're living. You're living in an experience, bro. When you die, that's all you have is experiences. You don't take money with you. Your soul lives through interaction, through energy, through moments. This shit don't live through money. Shit burns a hole in your pocket. But you could say, yo, I was in Japan, I was in Europe, I was in Miami, I was in New York, Boston, all because I got to cover an event and get paid for it. That's crazy. At least to me, that is. I think.
Yeah, to me that is too. I mean,
Nah, I think that's not the ultimate goal for like everybody. But I'm saying you want to be able to live a life that you've always envisioned for yourself, and no matter what that is. So I don't knock any profession, but like to me, that was my driving force. And like when I left school, education happened to pop up. Yeah. So and let's be honest, when you're 24 years old, 23 years old, fresh out of school, and you're like, damn, what's next? When your life was so consumed in different aspects that you weren't able to dedicate it to like whatever your passion was. Like me, I got so sidetracked with just like trying to survive in college and just trying to like be an athlete at times, do the school thing, like find the complete balance and all that. I like didn't do what I should have in terms of like pursuing my love. But now I'm starting to see how can I preach to a 17-year-old kid about to graduate high school, yo, follow your dreams if I'm not living that shit myself. And I think the more and more I've started working with older kids, that's when I really started to be like, yo, what you doing, bro? Let's get this. Let's motivate. But I can't be a hypocrite anymore. I can't keep telling you do it if I'm not trying to do it myself.
You think kids are afraid to graduate?
Yeah, for sure. I think kids are petrified of graduating. And I don't think it's the idea of accomplishing something. It's the idea of the unknown. I think kids struggle with the idea of like, this has been my safe space. This has been my comfort zone for the last 4 years. Like, who's going to care about me next? Or like, what's going to feel like home next? Like, I got to go meet these people from like Baltimore. I got to go meet these people from like Waltham. I got to share a college dorm room. Like, what do they know about me? Like, damn, I miss home. I miss being at my mom's house. I miss being at my grandmother's house. They start playing with this idea that they never thought they'd play with because they've never been faced with it. Yeah. So once they're told this is your chance to leave the nest, it's like, no, I don't want to leave the nest. I can't have this no more. Why not? Yeah. And I think they're intimidated by the possibility.
I guess, yeah, I could perfectly understand that. I mean, even some friend of mine's were on the same stage. I can't imagine now the magnitude of kids, you know what I mean, that are even more afraid because just how you said, you know, we have more access to things. And it just makes us feel that it's a loss for connection. So I feel there's more kids now scared, you know, they haven't thought about leaving the nest. Especially when you're saying, especially when you get these studies saying, kids that are older and older are staying with their parents more and more.
Yo, it's funny you say that. Yo, I'm so happy you brought that up because I seen something on Twitter because I can't front, like, Twitter is my thing. I love Twitter. Like, I love just
I'm always there trolling, man.
Yo, shout out to the one social media that will never get erased on my phone. I'm sorry to say, Twitter will not get erased from my phone because it is literally a 24-hour news cycle, 24-hour entertainment, and literally everybody's like bullshit opinion. On all the above. Like, all right, that's what you think about this? Like, wow, you're just as shitty as that. Or you're like, damn, that's just mad funny. Like, I would have never got that. I would have never heard what you had to say about that if I wasn't on social media. Like I said, we all fall victim to it. Yo, if I'm ever on my phone, good chance I'm on Twitter. Like, it's just because, bro,
God forbid somebody's behind you, they see something.
Yeah, it's Twitter. Yo, and honestly, yo, people stop liking the porno shit on Twitter, please. That's just mad aggressive.
It's really aggressive.
Yo, why is it 8 a.m. I'm getting ready for work and I see somebody getting banged out and I'm like, and I look up and it says so and so liked. I'm like, my man, how you this horny at 7 a.m.?
Yeah.
Yo, what is the purpose of that? Yo, you're an adult, fam. Like, don't you understand how Twitter works now? Like, it's just meant for somebody to see that. Talk about, yo, this person follows you. He's going to see you like that ass. Like, I don't get it. But I go on because of the entertainment. Because I know people, people are unique.
That's what I love about Twitter, yo. Everybody could use it, like, very different, bro. Like everybody uses it different. Everybody's opinions about it.
I used to be the emotional tweeter. I can't even front. I used to be a dude who'd be like, damn, I'm in my feelings. Like, yo, I got to tweet this. Yo, 8 years ago, yo, I was a depressing motherfucker, bro, on Twitter.
I went through my phases. I used to preach.
Yo, I was like, yo, shorty broke my heart. Fuck her. And I'm like now I'm like, dog, how old are you? Like, who writes that? Like, and I'm like, wow, you're a piece of shit, Tig. Like, why? And now I'm like, nah, the only thing I retweet is like some sports shit or like some Game of Thrones, like funny meme shit.
Yo, the memes have been on fire. The Game of Thrones memes, bro. I'll be dying.
Yo. Shout out Bran Stark. Shout out Arya Stark. All the trending topics on Twitter.
Crazy, bro.
Nah, it's just crazy, man. But like I said, it's that 24 hours, bro. At any moment, you could see anything. Yo, rest in peace to all the people that died in Sri Lanka. But like, yo, on Easter, I would have never known that. I would have never known that shit would have happened until 7 p.m.
Oh, you following the same dude too? There's this dude that posts the most craziest video from over there.
Nah, I don't watch no videos, man.
I try not to watch it, but sometimes because of my feed, I'm like, oh my God, why are we not doing nothing?
But then you ask yourself, like, would I have known about that yesterday at this time if I wasn't on Twitter?
No.
Nah. And that's another thing. It's like people don't understand how informative that little app is. It's so informative. But having too much information can be a good thing or it could be a bad thing. And like we have somebody like our president, Donald Trump. That he says a lot of dumb shit. like you say a lot of people, you say a lot of things to like ignite people's like negative energy. Like you don't use it for the positive, but that's with any social media, and that's with anybody. Like you have the ability to say the best thing or the worst thing. It doesn't matter who sees it. Everybody has a different sense of like reaction to it.
Did he post like a picture recently
Of Joe Biden
nah,
rubbing his shoulders.
of nah. I saw that one too. But some Game of Thrones artwork like.
Oh, nah, my man's wild. Yo, that dude's wild. But like, he's not stupid. Like, he's an entertainment figure. Like,
Yeah.
he knows how to play off people. I know it's gonna piss a million people off if I post a Game of Thrones meme of myself. You do it, and look at us. We're talking about it. There's no such thing as bad press. No such thing as bad press. The fact that we're talking about you, we're giving you press.
Facts.
But because we have Twitter.
Shout out to Twitter.
Shout out to Twitter. That's my thing.
So Tiger, you good, brother?
Yeah. It's been a long day, man. It's been a long day.
Man.
I'm a little tired, but it's the grind, man. It's the grind. Right now it's tough. Right now it's the tough part of a school year. Because it's about to be graduation. It's about to be prom. It's about to be the end of the year.
Prom. Now you're gonna see it through like the different eyes of a teacher.
Yeah, they be.
Are you gonna separate the dance too close? What you gonna do?
Nah, I try to do that fooling around as a joke. I've done that the last two proms. I'm like, yo, y'all too close. They're like, yeah, right, Torres. Act like you don't be dancing like this in the club. I'm like, nah, bro, I don't be dancing like that.
Real quick.
Yeah, nah, but yeah, I appreciate you putting me on this, like, and like giving me an outlet to speak, because I think a lot of times I get misunderstood.
Yeah.
People say I'm a hater. People say I'm X, Y, and Z.
Nah.
Bro, until you have a conversation with me, you never know. Like, you never know my real name. A lot of people don't understand my real name is Dimar. Like, that's my real name, not Tiger. But people have so many assumptions. People think I'm an asshole. I'm not an
You
asshole.
want me to call you Dimar, bro? I'll call you Dimar right now. Bro.
Nah, Tiger's cool, man. I grew up on Tiger. That's my
Yeah.
that's me. Tiger's my nickname.
Okay.
My 9 to 5 is Mr. Torres or Dimar, but I just think like giving me the outlet today, I appreciate, because I think this gives a little bit more insight onto like who I am on a day-to-day basis, at least, and like I got goals too. I got passions.
Also, you're in the city, bro. You're
Yeah,
literally dealing with our kids out there, man.
I know, but I don't. Yeah,
It's important, man.
it is important, but I think there's so much like positive going on in this like area right now in terms of artists and like just like the voices. I think there's a lot of positive going on, and I think like you give them the outlet, you give them the opportunity, and you highlight, and I think you showcase people who are doing a positive thing in this neighborhood. So that's like my kudos to you guys, and a shout out and appreciation to elviews for that. But I think we got a lot of talent here. It's just like just needs to be.
We need more reinforcement.
More reinforcement and more support. I think we need just more local support. But like, yo, let me just say this for the record, and I'm gonna say it loud. That support your local artist shit, my nigga. Let's dead that.
Support your locals.
Yo, let's dead that shit, bro. Like, I get it, support your local artists, but
It's
just
hard to
because
support
but just because they local, don't mean they need all your support. Let's support the shit that's really popping, because part of it is we giving too many participation trophies out. Just because you're doing something doesn't mean you're good at it. And I think we're scared to be like, nah, yo, try something else. And it's not hating, bro. Let's clear that. This is not hating. I'm gonna go on my rant now. Yo, that shit is not hating. Yo, if I don't fuck with your clothing brand or the music you make,
Go back to the lab.
Yeah.
I just go back to that lab. When I'm not popping, I'm like, all right. I look in my room. What can we do? Yo, what can we do?
But it's like, bro, I don't rock with it. It's not my style. But it's whack to me. That doesn't mean it's not whack to, or it's good to anybody else. To me, it's whack. Yo, just appreciate my opinion, because it is my opinion. But I don't have to support you just because you're local. And I've had conversations with my man Wiz, D-Rex, Nate, Armani, like my creatives and the rappers and the artists here. Let's get out of this mentality local. Like, yo, we global people. We are global individuals, yo. Like, we come from a whole different country. Why we gotta be local? We trying to get on national landscape, bro. Like, we trying to do what we were meant to do. Why we just need our local people hate us. Our local people hate us, bro. It's a fact. Yo, it's a fact because
I've heard that many times here. Heard that many times, brother.
It's real life hate, bro. And it's not hating because they have it out for you. It's a self-hate they have within themselves because they're not pursuing what they want to or X, Y, and Z. But like, yo, not everybody is great. Not everybody's great in this field. Just because I could want to pursue a rapper tomorrow. I could make one bubble gum ass rap tomorrow night.
I know you'll blow up.
Yeah, I'll blow up $1 million hit. I'll come out the hood, make this money, and I'm a fucking whack rapper. I'm a sucky rapper. But just because I got hot doesn't make me like this great artist. Like, let's stop saying let's support local artists. I just hate that. But shout out to all my rappers who I fuck with. RLX, my bias, but he's the lyrical god. Nate, production and team. Shout out to D-Rex and Wiz. That new tape, fire. C-Ro just dropped a new tape. Yeah. Haven't listened to it yet, but we'll give it the rundown tonight for sure. Shout out to Rick's L2, the beat makers, Wiz, my man Steve Cool, illest one. Yeah, low key, we just.
Yeah, I haven't had him on here.
Yeah, my man be hiding. He's in the dungeons of rap, hiding. But yeah, like that's why I fuck with. But like, is that me saying everybody else can't get to that point into my eyes? I just don't like anything you've put out yet. But it's not hating, bro. I promise you, it's not hating. Oh, shout out to my cousin DZ too, though. DZ got the street anthems. That's my guy. DZ with the street anthems. I love it. And the club anthems. We were playing that shit at the crib. Lit.
DZ,
yeah, that's my guy.
I'm gonna have to get to that.
But yeah, like I just think everybody's not as talented in that particular field. And like, support local artists, support good local artists. Let's just say that. Support good local artists.
Do you think it takes time to be an artist?
I think it takes time for anything.
Like the label artist. Like when do you say you're an artist? As soon as you just start making things, like I had people calling themselves an artist in the first month. You know, they started at a craft. When you call yourself an artist, or an artist has like double meaning. Like, what do you think?
The word artist, I think it's a strong word. I think to call yourself an artist means you found the medium that works for you. Yeah. You find the medium that you find a passion in and want to utilize. So I consider myself a creative artist because I can write. I consider myself a creative artist just because I can write. And I think that's a passion I have that I'm talented at, that I pursue in my own time. Yeah. Photographers, the artists, and whether you pick up a camera today or tomorrow, if it's something that you're going to pursue and that you're living, I think it's okay to give yourself that title, because what else are you? Yeah. That might be the only thing that drives you. So whatever you're doing, that's, I guess, creative, or in a medium that you feel is outside of the box, that's creative. Anything outside the box is creative, no matter what you're doing. And I think art comes from creation. So if you're creating, you're an artist, whether it's good, bad, or trash. Yeah. But at the end of the day, if you're creating, you're an artist in some form. Doesn't make you a good artist. Never said that. But an artist.
And we need to support our good artists.
Our good artists. Because at the end of the day, people have this idea of false hope. When I could tell you you're good until you're getting critiqued by others who don't know you. And then they can ruin your dream because I've let you believe that you were good in leading up to that. I set you up for failure. Yeah. People around you set you up for failure. Sometimes it takes people to learn that way, though. Yeah. But I feel a lot of people have a lot of yes men. And I rather run with 2 people who are honest with me day in and day out than 10 people that tell me what I want to hear from my ego. And I think our pride and our ego love to have people around us that provide us that service.
Yeah.
Yo, you can boost my ego today. You can boost my ego right now. Talking about, yo, I love what you do. Because you just want to hear, you just want me to feel good around you.
It's weird that some people get mad when you're not like that.
When you're not like what?
Let's say, like, I've been around people that I like to be neutral, but what stands me apart sometimes is I sometimes just speak too loudly or something, right? So I'll try to be neutral about something, be like, yeah. I'll be like, yo, those some nasty kicks, pop, whatever, we're chilling, I don't know, or boom, I cap on them, and it's just just cap on them, we're boys, it's a joke. Out of nowhere, it just sunk bad. It's like you can tell some people just don't want nothing.
Yeah, because they live with an ego. They don't live with humility. Ego and humility, there's not a balance of that. Your ego will always conflict. There's got to be a balance, but people struggle with the balance. Like, ego is such a big thing, bro. It's as cliche as it sounds. Like, yo, this shit Jay-Z be saying, like that whole ego shit on his 444, like, bro, he lived this character. Like, this person, this Jay-Z's untouchable. This person's untouchable. That's what his ego tells him. But at home, he's Sean Carter. To his wife, he's not Jay-Z. But you live with this persona for so long that you think you have an armor on you. That's not real. And nobody likes to have our armor
taken off.
No, taken off. No. Yeah. Nobody wants to be asked out. Nobody wants to hear their inabilities or their deficiencies as a person. Nobody wants to hear that. But the moment you're able to hear them and build on them and either get rid of them or make them positives, then you can never let your ego go, because your ego is always going to want to take.
And that's what scares me about today's generation. That's a little sensitive. That it's easier to fall under your ego because it's just easier. So it's just these kids are just sensitive. They just seem sensitive because they just want.
Not because we just want to appease them. Like, it's like anything. Like, yo, I'm gonna give you this piece of candy because it's gonna shut you up. I'm gonna tell you, good job, because I know it's gonna make you feel better. Yeah. I'm not gonna have to deal with everything else that comes with it. Nobody wants to hear I'm not good at 10 years old, 11 years old, or yo, you're good at this, try this. Like, we don't build character, and I think it's hard. I use too young of an age at 10 and 11, but I think when you start honing certain skills and like you see somebody's better at certain things, we don't want to point them in those directions because we don't want to hurt them. We're so scared to hurt people because society says you can't hurt that person. Why do you think we have so many like gender issues in life, and why we have so many like racial things, man? Because people aren't afraid to let their egos go. Yeah. And I say that like with the inclusion though, like blacks and whites come from this ego-driven persona where they feel like I'm the alpha. Yo, bro, there's no alpha in this world, man. We were all created equally. That's for lesbians, people homosexual, transgenders. Like, bro, everybody has a path that they choose. Let them live the life they want to live, because at the end of the day, it has no effect on you. Yeah. Your ego, your pride, nothing's conflicted. But society tells you that shit's wrong, so you think it's wrong. But we're scared to leave that narrative.
Yeah, that's deep. Well, Tiger, because I'm about to get used to your real name,
Dimar
for a while. Thanks for coming, brother.
Of course, man. Appreciate you having me.
Yo,